Have you ever felt stuck in the same old patterns, the same outcomes, as if life is a broken record replaying the same unsatisfactory track? Do you sense that the person you are today, with all your limitations, all your perceived shortcomings, doesn't quite align with, doesn't quite measure up to the potent, vibrant version of yourself that you know exists, the person you could be? That nagging feeling, that uncomfortable space between who you are and who you could be. The quiet ache of unfulfilled potential. If that sensation resonates, perhaps it's not just a passing phase, but a deeper calling from within. A calling to rebuild. An invitation to the most important project of your life. Reconstructing yourself. Change, a true transformation from the core, is never an accident. It's something you consciously craft. It's a masterpiece built layer by layer, decision by decision, choice by choice. The version of you that achieves the version that thrives, the version that has the capacity to bring meaningful things into the world. That version isn't something you find by chance. No, that version is built. It's forged in the crucible of experience and intent. Most people, myself included at times, spend far too long waiting for the perfect moment to start. Waiting for the ideal conditions to align, waiting for permission or validation from the outside world. But the stark reality is that perfect moment, the one where everything is easy and aligned, often never comes. Life simply doesn't operate that way. If you truly crave success, if you desire profound growth, if you yearn for purpose and meaning that resonate deep within your soul, you have to become the kind of person who inherently earns those things. You have to become the type of individual who doesn't just wish for them, but who builds the inner architecture required to achieve them. Rebuilding yourself isn't an easy task. It demands confronting uncomfortable truths. It requires sacrifice, and sometimes it's a lonely path. But consider this carefully. The cost of staying the same. The cost of stagnation. The cost of never breaking free to live your truest potential. That price in the long run is far, far greater. So the choice is clear. Choose who you want to become. Hold that vision clearly in your mind and simply begin. Begin now, because in the moments that follow, we will explore the foundational pillars, the sturdy framework upon which you can rebuild yourself step by deliberate step and truly become the person success is inherently seeking. The first foundation, the core building block of every significant achievement, lies in a single powerful concept: embracing the power of decision. Every great achievement in human history, every powerful movement, every revolutionary life transformation began with the potent force of one singular decision. A clear, deliberate choice, made with firm, unshakable intent. Just that one thing in the right moment can redefine a life. It can alter a destiny that seemed pre-written. It can literally build an empire of success from the shattered rubble of defeat. Look closely at history, at the lives of those you admire. Every towering success story, every truly powerful leader, every revolutionary thinker who changed the course of things, they all began with a moment of absolute clarity. A point in time where hesitation was decisively cast aside, where doubt was silenced, and where the mind locked onto a definite purpose, a singular direction. Let us consider Milton Hershey. He was born in 1857, and his early life was marked by significant hardship and pervasive scarcity. His journey through young adulthood and his initial career path was strewn with setbacks. Business failures were not just isolated incidents for him, they were a pattern. Repeated failures that would have crushed a lesser spirit. At one point, he was utterly bankrupt. The world, it seemed, kept slamming doors shut in his face. But amidst this relentless stream of difficulty, he held fast to something far greater than sheer talent, far more dependable than luck. A firm, unshakable decision. In a world that offered him little, a world that seemed determined to keep him down, he made a quiet but potent declaration to himself. He decided deep within his core that he would rise. He would build something, he would succeed, and he did. And that quiet moment of certainty made in the solitude of his own resolve when he decided to build something meaningful and lasting. That single decision marked the true beginning of his ascent. Remember this crucial point. It wasn't chocolate itself that transformed his destiny. Chocolate was the vehicle, the product, the external expression. The transformative force was the clarity of purpose, born from a decisive internal choice. Before the sprawling factories, before the vast fortune, before the name, Milton Hershey became synonymous with a global brand. There was simply a man who made a singular decision, never to quit, never to retreat. Hershey understood on a profound level that true change transformation from the inside out only begins when lingering doubt is decisively replaced by rock-solid conviction. Once the mind has locked onto a vision, once it has settled upon a definite purpose and fundamentally refuses the possibility of retreat, the universe itself, in ways science cannot fully explain, seems to bend to align itself to meet that unyielding resolve. His story is not a random tale of blind luck. It is a powerful testament to the raw transformative power of decision that is the fire that purifies. That is the critical turning point. And in that transformative fire of decision, the seemingly ordinary has the potential to become truly extraordinary. Mr. Hershey's lasting legacy did not start with immediate success. It started with a choice, and that one choice made with courage and clarity made all the difference. Sadly, far too many of us walk through life, or more accurately drift through life, simply waiting. Waiting for that ill-defined perfect time to start. Waiting for the right conditions to miraculously appear. Waiting for permission for validation from someone else before we give ourselves permission to pursue our dreams. They stall. They overanalyze every potential pitfall to the point of paralysis. They drift. But no man in history ever drifted his way to greatness. No woman ever stumbled upon profound success without first deep within her heart and mind declaring exactly what she wants from this precious life, and then with unyielding determination, demanding it of herself. A decision, a real potent decision, is not a wish whispered into the wind. It's not a fragile hope easily shattered. A true decision is a command. A command issued from the deepest core of your being. A command that is then enforced by unwavering discipline, and a command that is carried relentlessly forward by consistent, deliberate action. This is the true unveiled secret. Your inherent power doesn't come from your external environment. It doesn't come from the degrees hanging on your wall. It doesn't come from your background or your family's status. Your real potent power comes from your ability to choose boldly, to choose clearly with absolute certainty, and to choose without leaving any path for retreat. When your mind is made up, truly, utterly made up, life bends in response. The universe respects decisiveness because it signals the undeniable presence of a mind that will not waver, a spirit that will not falter. Think about it. So many individuals possess immense talent. They have significant resources at their disposal. Opportunities cross their path regularly. And yet they still fail to achieve their potential. Why? Because they lack the essential courage to decide. They are trapped in debilitating cycles of self-doubt. They second-guess every potential move, analyzing possibilities into dust. They are paralyzed by a pervasive fear of failure. But here's the liberating truth. Failure only holds true power over the undecided. Once you choose a path, any path, with absolute clarity, once you commit to it with every fiber of your being pouring your full self into it, failure fundamentally changes its nature. It stops being a wall that blocks your path. It becomes a stepping stone. It becomes a necessary lesson, a guidepost on the journey forward rather than a dead end. You must commit, not partially, not cautiously reserving a part of yourself, just in case things get difficult. You must commit completely. Burn the ships behind you. Eliminate the possibility of retreat. Fix your vision. The thing you have decided to create so clearly and vividly in your mind, and then pursue it with unrelenting intention. Nothing worthwhile is denied to the one who has truly decided that it simply will be done. Life inherently rewards the bold. It fundamentally favors the committed. The precise moment you make the unwavering decision about who you will become When you truly decide, it's in that instant that you begin to fundamentally reshape the world around you. The people you suddenly meet seem different. The opportunities that mysteriously arise seem perfectly aligned. The very energy you emit and attract starts to shift. The power of choice is yours, and that choice, once made with genuine courage and crystalline clarity, holds the extraordinary power to create a future far beyond anything you've ever known or imagined. Let this moment of hearing these words be your turning point. Let it be the powerful, unstoppable force that sets your inherent greatness in motion. Make your choice, and then simply, courageously, never look back. The second pillar upon which you rebuild. Cultivating resilience amidst challenges. Every significant accomplishment etched into the annals of human history was not the result of a smooth, easy path. Every leap forward was preceded, often for extended periods, by trials and setbacks. True greatness, you must understand, is never simply granted freely. It is earned through fire, shaped in the brutal crucible of difficulty, and undeniably proven in the face of defeat. The path to anything truly worthwhile is never straight. It is never effortlessly easy. It demands a specific, potent quality. Resilience. A spirit that fundamentally cannot be broken by temporary loss or moments of intense pressure. A vision strong enough to not only survive the fiercest storms of failure, but to use them to grow stronger. Let us consider the journey of William Carter, a man whose name eventually became synonymous with endurance in business. He faced bankruptcy, not just once. He faced it multiple times. His early ventures collapsed repeatedly under the relentless pressure of market forces and financial strain. His name for years meant almost nothing in the competitive world of business. Creditors, those who had lent him money, often viewed him as a man whose destiny was simply to fade into obscurity. Another cautionary tale of an entrepreneur who couldn't make it. But what truly set Mr. Carter apart from the countless others who also experienced devastating setbacks. It wasn't superior intelligence. It wasn't having more initial funding. It wasn't pure blind luck. The fundamental difference was his mindset. He absolutely refused to interpret failure as a final ending. Each painful time he fell, he made a conscious, deliberate choice to stand back up. Not with bitterness or crushing despair, but with renewed clarity about what went wrong, a sharpened strategy forged in the fires of his experience, and an unwavering resolve to try again. Where others looked at setbacks, at lost investments, at failed launches, at mounting debts, and saw red stop signs flashing signals to give up and turn back, Mr. Carter saw something entirely different. He saw signals to grow. Each mistake he made was not a mark of shame. It held a crucial lesson waiting to be learned. Each door that slammed shut in his face wasn't a dead end. It revealed a better door waiting nearby, a more appropriate path. He didn't hide from his failures. He studied them. He dissected what went wrong, understood the root causes. He adapted his approach based on the hard-won wisdom, and then critically, he moved forward. He treated adversity not as a curse designed to break him, but as a strict, invaluable mentor. And slowly, meticulously, trial after grueling trial, setback after painful setback, he patiently built the sturdy foundation of what would become one of the nation's most powerful retail enterprises. His eventual victories, his widespread success, did not come in spite of his failures. Absolutely not. His victories came precisely because of his failures. He extracted the wisdom from them, the toughness from them, in ways that smooth sailing never could. Life will test you. You can be absolutely certain of that. Not once, but repeatedly. Sometimes subtly. A series of small frustrations and obstacles designed to wear you down slowly. Sometimes violently, an unexpected crisis, a sudden loss that hits you with the force of a physical blow, knocking the wind out of you. It will challenge your belief in yourself. It will push the boundaries of your endurance, of your physical and emotional limits. It will ask you again and again with a relentless query, are you willing to continue even after this, even now, even when it hurts this much? Most people sadly give up, Most retreat into safety or succumb to despair. But those who deeply understand and embrace the power of resilience do not bow. They transform. Resilience is not the absence of hardship or suffering. It is the dynamic presence of defiance. It is the fierce, unwavering refusal to let temporary circumstances dictate your ultimate destiny. Resilience is the alchemical force that transmutes failure into the fuel required to keep moving. It turns gnawing self-doubt into relentless drive, and it sharpens crippling fear into intense focus. It's not simply about surviving the blow when it lands. It is about strategically using the very impact of that blow, the lessons it delivers, the strength it forces you to discover within, to push farther than you thought possible, to rise higher than you believed yourself capable of, to dig deeper into the well of your inner power. William Carter's story is far more than just a narrative about business strategy. It is a profound testament to the power of belief. It provides a living blueprint of exactly what happens when a person makes the ironclad decision to simply refuse to quit, no matter the odds. It proves unequivocally that true strength is not a product of ease or comfort. Strength is forged and amplified by endurance. It teaches us the invaluable lesson that suffering and hardship, when approached with the right mindset, can actually be transformed into a potent strategy for breakthrough. And that persistence, the unwavering refusal to let go, possesses the power to completely rewrite a fate that seemed inevitable. Each time you encounter resistance, from the external world, from circumstances, from others, or even from your own inner doubts, each time you are presented with a powerful defining choice. Retreat or rise, shrink back into comfort, or grow into the challenge. You are being offered explicitly or implicitly the opportunity to become unshakable. Understand this paradox. The stronger the opposition you face, the more powerful, the more significant is the potential for your own growth. There is no effortless ascent to true greatness. The struggle is the staircase. The challenge is the path upward. Allow your challenges to shape you, to mold your character, like fire shapes metal. Allow your pain, the pain of effort, of setback, of disappointment, to instruct you. Let it reveal lessons that ease could never provide. Each disappointment is not the conclusion of your potentially great journey. It is in fact the critical forging of your character, the hardening of your spirit. No storm, no matter how fierce, lasts forever. And crucially, no failure is ever truly final, unless you choose yourself to allow it to be. There is immense strength being built brick by invisible brick in your consistent perseverance. Clarity is being born out of the very chaos you are navigating, and victory is being prepared patiently, perhaps painfully in the background of your present struggle. Endurance, the sheer capacity to stay in the game, to keep pushing, is the undeniable price of greatness. And when you choose to continue, when you lean into the pressure, when you move forward despite the doubts whispering in your ear, when you act despite the fear seizing your chest, when you make that courageous choice, you are not just progressing toward your goal. You are declaring to the world, and most importantly to yourself, that you are fundamentally unbreakable. The triumphs waiting for you tomorrow are purchased in large part by the persistence you exhibit today. So embrace your challenges. Welcome the adversity, not as a punishment, but as an opportunity. Let it sharpen your will. Let it solidify your purpose. Stand up when it hurts the most to do so. Push forward when every fiber of your being screams that it is impossible. Because in the end, the one thing that fundamentally separates the great from the forgotten, the merely talented from the truly impactful, is not just innate ability or available resources or happenstance luck. It is first and foremost resilience, and the person who utterly refuses to give up is the person who, in the final analysis, always wins. The third pillar you need to integrate for rebuilding: building unshakable self-belief. Self-belief, that quiet but potent inner conviction, is the essential fuel that powers your entire journey from a fragile vision in your mind to a tangible reality in the world. Without it, even the most brilliant ideas, the most meticulously crafted plans, The most passionate endeavors will ultimately collapse under the insidious weight of doubt, but with unshakable self-belief. Even the most improbable dreams, the goals that seem audacious beyond measure, begin to take form, to gather momentum, to become real possibilities. The world, the external circumstances, life itself does not simply hand you what you wish for, with polite deference. The world responds dynamically to who you are, and even more critically, it responds to who you believe yourself to be. The universe mirrors your internal state. Let's consider the initial steps of Margaret Linfield's career. It began quite literally in a storm of relentless rejection. Her early performances were dissected and criticized with brutal honesty. Her physical appearance was scrutinized publicly and mercilessly. Her name was easily forgotten in countless casting rooms filled with louder, more confident voices and longer, more impressive resumes from those perceived as having more experience, more potential. She had every conceivable reason to surrender. Every external signal, every outcome she experienced was a clear message of failure. The world day after day offered her rejection, piled upon rejection. But deep within, Margaret held on to something invaluable, something no critic, no casting director, no closed door could ever take away. Belief. She believed against all external evidence in her inherent talent, even when no applause was heard. She trusted her internal vision for her future, for her artistry, even as doors slammed shut in her face. That unwavering belief was her anchor. It provided stability and strength during the moments of deepest self-doubt. And there were many such moments. It quietly, persistently carried her through years of anonymity and obscurity when the recognition she yearned for felt impossibly far away. And eventually, inevitably, that potent, unshakable belief led her to grace the grandest stages, to appear on screens large and small in roles of such power and nuance that the world would no longer possibly ignore. Her brilliance, Margaret Linfield became one of the most celebrated and revered actresses of her time. Not because she was magically spared from hardship or bypassed the trials of rejection. Not at all. She achieved that pinnacle of success because she utterly courageously refused to allow the rejection she faced, the criticism she endured, to rewrite her fundamental identity, to diminish who she knew herself to be. This is the powerful, freeing secret. Your greatest, most reliable ally in life is yourself. Not because you are flawless or incapable of error. No human is. It is because you hold the profound power to choose what you believe, and critically, to choose what you believe about yourself. When you look at your reflection in the mirror, metaphorically and literally and truly, see a person worthy of success, a person capable of building something meaningful, a person with inherent value and potential. The external world, slowly but surely, begins to reflect that exact image back to you. Opportunities that seemed distant now feel within reach. People who can support your journey appear. But if you look inward and only see your flaws, if you doubt your own value, if you lack conviction in your capabilities, then even golden chances presented on a silver platter will feel unattainable, out of reach. Self-doubt is the invisible wall. It is the internal barrier that has stopped. More dreams killed more potential ventures and crushed more aspirations than external failure ever could hope to. Your mind, that incredibly powerful internal space, must become a sanctuary of unwavering confidence, a sacred place where belief is fiercely protected, where it is consciously nurtured and strengthened daily, and where it is spoken aloud, asserted with conviction. Speak these words, these potent affirmations to yourself every single day. I am capable. I am worthy. I am actively becoming the extraordinary person I am meant to be. These are not merely empty, wishful words. They are seeds, living seeds of intent. And what you consciously, deliberately plant and water in the fertile soil of your mind, you will one day, without question, harvest in the tangible reality of your life. True self-belief is not arrogance. It is not inflated ego. It is profound alignment. It is the deep internal knowing of who you truly are, the inherent talents and strengths you carry within, and the meaningful contribution you are meant to build and offer to the world. It does not mean pretending you have no fears. Every ambitious human experiences fear. It means refusing to let that fear paralyze you. It means refusing to allow fear to make the important decisions for you. It means consistently showing up, taking action, putting yourself out there, even when you feel small, inadequate, or utterly unsure of yourself. Why? Because you know with quiet certainty that small, consistent steps fueled by belief build unstoppable momentum. Margaret Lindfield's eventual triumph was not a sudden, miraculous event. It was meticulously built, moment by moment, through the difficult but rewarding work of strengthening her inner world and through the unshakable conviction she held about herself and her potential. And that exact same power, that capacity for unshakable self-belief, resides right within you. The world is not waiting for your perfection. It's waiting for your truth. Waiting for a person who knows who they are, who trusts their inner knowing, and who has the courage to walk boldly in that authentic identity, fear and all. Here, affirm your inherent worth. Claim and truly own your vision for your life with fierce determination. See the inevitable setbacks and moments of rejection not as undeniable signs to quit, but as irrefutable proof that your journey is real, that you are challenging the status quo. No one climbs to any significant height without facing resistance and challenge. But those who rise, those who truly soar, do so built upon the unbreakable foundation of belief. So believe. Believe fully. Believe fiercely. Believe unapologetically. Don't postpone it for someday when conditions are perfect. Choose to believe now. Your destiny is being shaped not primarily by the external circumstances that swirl around you, but by the internal certainty you cultivate within. Declare it, live it with every breath. Become it consciously. You are inherently more powerful, more capable, more resilient than you likely know right now. And the very day, the precise moment you truly, fully, utterly believe that profound truth about yourself, that is the day everything begins to shift. The fourth cornerstone of rebuilding the power of definite purposes. Having a clear, crystal clear definite purpose acts like a powerful magnet. It constantly, consistently, and inevitably pulls you toward your desired destination, even through confusing landscapes. Purpose understood deeply is far more than merely setting a goal to achieve and tick off a list. It is a guiding force. It is a profound inner conviction, an internal compass that directs your choices, fuels your persistence through dry seasons, and provides endless energy for your vision. Without it, even the most talented minds, the most driven individuals can find themselves drifting aimlessly, exhausting their efforts on myriad pursuits with little meaningful result to show for it. But with it, with a clear, definite purpose, even seemingly ordinary individuals possess the capacity to achieve extraordinary results, to leave a lasting impact. Consider Thomas Griffin, a titan of industry, whose business not only achieved immense financial success, but actively transformed entire communities, creating opportunity and prosperity. He often shared with me that his immense success and widespread influence were directly attributable to one unwavering factor: absolute clarity of purpose. He would often emphasize that, long before the physical factories were built, before the substantial profits were realized, before his name was known and respected, there was first and foremost a powerful vision. A vision that was not vague or uncertain. It was sharply defined, clear in every detail he could imagine, and deeply, profoundly personal to him. He knew with absolute certainty precisely what he wanted to create, and even more crucially, why it mattered on a level beyond mere business metrics. That powerful purpose became his compass when external markets suddenly collapsed, sending competitors into a panic. When uncertainty loomed large, clouding the future, Griffin stood firm. His underlying purpose was not shaken by those tumultuous external conditions, because it was anchored deeply, immovably within him. That inner clarity provided unwavering direction in times of doubt and powerful momentum in times of greatest hardship. While others panicked, reacting fearfully to the shifting landscape, Griffin calmly, deliberately executed his plan. While others gasped in surprise or dismay at unforeseen events, he had already anticipated the possibilities and acted with swift intention. Purpose, when clearly defined and embraced, eliminates debilitating hesitation. It removes the maybe I should or what if from the equation. Your definite purpose is your personal North Star. It navigates your course through complex waters even in the darkest night when other lights are extinguished. It clearly tells you where to invest your limited time, where to place your finite energy, and crucially, what distracting opportunities, what trivial pursuits, what misguided paths you must have the courage to walk away from. Without it, your efforts are constantly diluted, spread too thin. But with it, every single action you take, every small decision, every interaction, every challenge you face becomes intrinsically aligned. Each piece fits together, becoming part of a much larger, more meaningful mission. Your mind stops wandering down rabbit holes of distraction. Your heart stops hesitating, asking which direction to turn. You know where you are headed. Mr. Griffin didn't merely define his purpose one single time, put it in a drawer and move on. He actively lived with it. He wrote it down. He read it every single day, allowing its words to reinforce his inner commitment. He shared it clearly, consistently, passionately with his team, so they understood the deeper why behind their work. And most powerfully, he used it as a filter, a clear standard for every single significant decision he made. His purpose wasn't just a nice-sounding phrase on paper, it was a living, breathing force. A force that shaped the very way he lived his life and the way he led his people. It instilled profound meaning into his work, elevating it far beyond chasing profit. And in doing so, it inspired deep loyalty and commitment in everyone who worked alongside him. Without this clear, self-defined purpose, the external world, with all its pressures, expectations, and myriad distractions, will inevitably dictate your direction. You will find yourself saying yes to the wrong things, pursuing fleeting opportunities that offer superficial gains, and expending your most valuable energy, reacting constantly to external events instead of proactively building something of substance and meaning. But with clarity of purpose, you become magnetic. People sense your focus, your conviction, your direction, and they are drawn to it. Opportunities that align with your deeper calling seem to magically appear. Your energy is conserved and multiplied because it is channeled effectively. Define your life's purpose clearly, passionately, and with intense intentionality. Do not settle for vague aspirations or general hopes. Get specific, pinpoint it. What are you uniquely here to do to contribute? Who do you want to fundamentally become at your core? What tangible impact, what meaningful legacy do you want to leave behind long after you are gone? Write it down. Speak it aloud. Feel it resonating deep within your bones. Let it infuse your daily rituals, the small actions you take repeatedly, and then crucially, act in alignment with it. Let your purpose relentlessly guide your choices. What you say yes to, what you choose to walk away from even when it seems tempting, and what you absolutely irrevocably commit to. Especially when the journey becomes difficult and demands sacrifice. Purpose brings essential discipline. It makes the necessary sacrifices of the journey feel easier to bear because you clearly understand the larger, more significant structure you are building, the future you are creating. It makes the sting of failure tolerable because you know precisely where you are ultimately headed, and that setback is merely a delay, not a cancellation. Purposeful living is not just a concept. It is the robust, unwavering foundation of every extraordinary achievement. It doesn't promise an easy road. Far from it, but it absolutely guarantees meaning. It makes the arduous climb inherently worthwhile. It transforms mundane daily effort into a lasting legacy. When you are truly deeply aligned with a definite, clear purpose, your life stops feeling fragmented. Your unique story begins to make profound sense. Every chapter, even the difficult ones, connects seamlessly to the next, contributing to the overall narrative arc. Do not passively wait to find your purpose as if it were a lost object somewhere out there. Decide it, claim it, declare it. The power to do so resides fully within you, waiting to be exercised. The clarity you seek is already within your reach, waiting for you to define it. And once you define it consciously, nurture it. Protect it fiercely from distraction, and let it become the clear, unwavering standard by which you measure every action you take, every decision you make, and every step of your progress. Because in the end, success at the highest level is not just about how fast you move or even how much external recognition you achieve. It is ultimately about how aligned you are with the deepest why behind everything you do, the reason you started in the first place. And the one who walks through life grounded in clear purpose, they walk with a profound, unmistakable power. Let your purpose lead the way. Let it relentlessly pull you forward through every obstacle, and observe with wonder how the world fundamentally opens in response to your focused intent. The fifth pillar, to forge within yourself. Harnessing passion to fuel success. Passion, that vibrant, irrepressible flame, is the force that transmutes often mundane effort into profound enjoyment. It's what transforms daunting challenges into exhilarating opportunities. Passion is the raw emotional energy, the potent inner force that breathes essential life into your purpose and infuses deep soul-level meaning into your mission. Without this vital spark, work can easily become purely mechanical, a series of tasks to simply get through. Life can feel like a weary march from one obligation to the next, rather than a vibrant, exhilarating journey to be fully lived, but with passion, authentic and ignited. Every step feels infused with vitality. Every obstacle isn't just a problem to overcome. It becomes a compelling reason to rise higher, to innovate more creatively, to dig deeper than before. Consider Laura Simmons. She wasn't born into privilege, wasn't handed a pre-made path to success. She didn't simply inherit her role as a pioneering revolutionary force in education reform. She earned it through the fire of conviction, through sheer grit and unwavering determination, and above all else, through a consuming passion for the potential she saw in every child. From the earliest days of her teaching career, Laura held an unshakable belief that education was the fundamental key to transformation. Not just for individual children, not just for individual families, but for entire communities, entire societies. Her classrooms were far more than simply places where information was transferred. They were sanctuaries of palpable possibility, vibrant spaces where potential felt limitless. Laura dedicated the entirety of her working life to revolutionizing the archaic, often rigid way children were being taught. While others simply followed outdated systems and rote methods, she tirelessly created new ones, where others accepted the limitations of existing structures and limited resources. She saw boundless opportunities for innovation and improvement. Her passion was not a quiet, private feeling. It was loud, it was bold, and powerfully, it was contagious. Parents were drawn to her, listened intently to her ideas, because they could see and feel the burning conviction behind her words. Teachers, inspired by her vision and dedication, followed her lead, eager to implement her transformative methods. And the children, the true beneficiaries, flourished in ways previously unimagined, their potential unlocked by her infectious belief in them. What truly made Laura Simmons extraordinary was not solely the brilliance of her innovative ideas or the effectiveness of her teaching methods. It was the profound fire behind them, the burning passion that fueled her every action. She worked relentlessly, long hours, often to the point of exhaustion, because the work itself was its own reward. She faced immense resistance from entrenched systems and bureaucratic obstacles designed to maintain the status quo. She endured harsh, sometimes deeply personal criticism from those who opposed her revolutionary approach. But she never wavered. She never compromised her vision or her commitment. Passion gave her incredible stamina when logic suggested she should be weary. Passion gave her the fierce courage to challenge deeply ingrained norms. And most wonderfully, passion gave her deep joy in the very effort, the very struggle that would have undoubtedly drained and defeated someone who lacked that inner flame. She didn't burn out from the effort. She burned brighter, illuminating the path for others. This, my friends, is the authentic, life-changing gift of passion. It elevates work from a mere obligation into a compelling purpose, and it transforms that purpose into a source of profound, sustaining joy. Passion allows you to pursue your most audacious visions without constantly being weighed down by fatigue or paralyzed by fear. Passion doesn't magically eliminate challenges from your path. That would make the journey meaningless. Instead, it fundamentally changes how you face them. It transforms grueling struggle into dynamic growth, turning daunting setbacks into potent stepping stones for further ascent. Find that thing, that one compelling pursuit or cause that genuinely ignites your heart, that makes your soul feel alive and awake. That spark of inner fire is not random. It is your authentic internal compass. Pay close attention. Pay attention to what consistently excites you, makes you lean in, makes you forget the passage of time. Pay attention to what angers you so deeply. What injustices you see that you feel a powerful urge to act and make things right. Pay attention to what profoundly moves you, brings you to tears, fills you with a sense of awe or purpose. Within those powerful emotions often lies the core of your mission, your true calling. When you discover that one thing that genuinely stirs your soul, don't just cautiously tiptoe towards it. No, run towards it. Dive headfirst into it with total abandon. Give yourself to it fully, with every ounce of energy, creativity, and heart you possess. Laura Simmons didn't transform the field of education primarily because she sought external recognition or accolades. She did it because, quite simply, she felt compelled. She couldn't not do it. It was so intrinsically linked to who she was, to her deepest values, to her purpose, that denying it felt like denying herself. That level of deep alignment between passion, purpose, and action is unbelievably powerful. It makes you magnetic in a way that calculation or ambition alone never could. People are instinctively drawn to genuine passion. It wakes something up within them. It reminds them perhaps of their own forgotten inner fire. Let your passion actively guide you. Let it clearly shape the path you take, the decisions you make. Let it fuel your mornings with enthusiasm and carry you steadfastly through your inevitable setbacks and moments of doubt. Let it be the consistent reminder of why you started in the first place, especially when the journey becomes incredibly hard, as it will. And let it, through your visible dedication and energy, inspire others around you to rise to discover and live their passions alongside you. Passionate individuals don't simply dream of a better world, they act. They create, they build, they transform. They don't wait for permission to make a difference, they simply act, powered by their inner fire. And in doing so, they leave a lasting mark, a legacy of impact that resonates far beyond their own lifetime. So ask yourself with brutal honesty, what truly sets your soul on fire? What is the work that you would pursue relentlessly, even if no one ever noticed, no one ever applauded? What cause? What mission would you fight for with every fiber of your being, even in the face of overwhelming resistance? That, my friends, is your calling. That is your most authentic power source. The world right now doesn't need more people just going through the motions, fulfilling obligations without heart. It desperately needs those who are fully alive with purpose and fueled by passion. Those who dare to care deeply, fiercely about something bigger than themselves. Those who act boldly, genuinely, directly from the core of their heart. Passion is not optional equipment on the journey to an extraordinary life. It is absolutely essential. It is the profound difference between mere existence and significant impact, between simply surviving the day and truly inspiring others. Let your passion be your ultimate power source. Let it lift you, guide you, and empower you to leave the world undeniably better than you found it. The sixth crucial component of rebuilding: the importance of continuous learning. Every truly great achiever, every impactful leader, every individual who has risen to the highest levels in their field whom I have had the privilege to learn about was, without exception, a lifelong learner. They were people who possessed an insatiable, unquenchable thirst for continually seeking knowledge, new skills, and deeper wisdom throughout their entire lives. The most successful individuals are not always or even often the ones blessed with the most raw, innate talent at birth. No, but they are consistently, reliably the ones most profoundly committed to personal growth, to learning every single day. They never, ever reach a point where they lean back, cross their arms, and confidently declare, "I know enough now, my education is complete." Instead, they approach each new day, each new interaction, each new challenge as a brand new opportunity to expand their understanding, to evolve their perspectives, and to deepen their wisdom about the complex and ever-changing world swirling around them. Consider the example of Jonathan Harris, a name perhaps not immediately associated with inherited wealth or prestigious status in his formative years, but undeniably known for one dominant characteristic: an unrelenting curiosity, a deep love of learning that became his defining superpower. Starting from very humble beginnings, Jonathan pursued learning not as a burdensome obligation or a requirement to check off a list. No. He pursued it as a deep driving passion. He read voraciously, consuming vast amounts of knowledge across diverse subjects. He asked bold, probing questions, the kind that push boundaries and challenge accepted norms. He actively sought out mentors and guides who weren't just sources of information, but who genuinely challenged his existing thinking, pushing him into uncomfortable but fertile intellectual territory. This intense thirst for knowledge, cultivated consistently over time, eventually led him to make truly groundbreaking scientific discoveries that fundamentally revolutionized his entire field of study, transforming the way people approached complex problems. Jonathan's remarkable success didn't come from clever shortcuts or sudden flashes of unearned insight. It came from the disciplined practice of committing to grow just a little bit, to learn just one new thing every single day. He deeply understood a powerful truth that remains as relevant today as it was then. The world changes incredibly quickly. Technology shifts, economies transform, entire industries are disrupted. New knowledge is generated exponentially, and old trends fade into irrelevance in the blink of an eye. In this constant state of flux, only those who are truly willing and able to learn to adapt their understanding can keep pace with that dizzying speed, or better yet, stay ahead of the curve. His unwavering commitment to continuous learning opened doors for him that remained entirely invisible, utterly inaccessible to others. Where others looked at a complex problem or a shifting landscape and saw impenetrable limitations because they didn't know how, Jonathan saw vast possibilities because he knew something crucial they didn't. And why did he know? Because he kept learning. Formal education. Getting a degree or certification doesn't mark the end of your learning journey. In fact, perhaps the most important, most relevant education truly begins the moment you leave formal schooling behind and step into the dynamic classroom of life. The structured academic environment might give you a foundational toolkit of skills and concepts, but it is life itself, with all its unpredictable challenges, its real-world problems, its moments of triumph and failure, that truly tests your adaptability, your intrinsic hunger for growth, and your deep willingness to keep evolving, to keep updating your internal operating system. Every book you devour with curiosity, every deep, meaningful conversation you engage in, that expands your perspective. Every challenge you deliberately pause to reflect upon and extract wisdom from. All of these in aggregate contribute immeasurably to your ongoing lifelong education. Consciously adopt the mindset of perpetual growth. See yourself as a student of life always and forever. Treat your mind like a muscle, because it is. It grows stronger, more capable, more flexible, with consistent use, with regular workouts in new intellectual domains. It weakens it, atrophies with neglect and stagnation. Don't limit yourself to mastering just your own specialized field, no matter how deeply you pursue it. Actively explore other areas. Read widely across disciplines. Creativity and innovation often leap forth most powerfully from the unexpected collision of diverse ideas, concepts pulled from seemingly unrelated fields. When you deliberately stretch your mind beyond the boundaries of what you already know, you consciously give yourself the immense advantage of fresh perspective, novel insights, and unconventional approaches. The benefits of continuous learning extend far beyond simply sharpening your intellectual faculties. It is a potent attractant for opportunity itself. The marketplace in any sector eagerly seeks learners. Organizations, companies, projects are on the lookout for innovators. Collaboration partners are drawn to individuals with expansive knowledge. The world, in essence, swings its doors wide open for those who are visibly, demonstrably prepared. And that preparation, more often than not, stems directly from having the humility and the hunger to consistently ask, what else can I learn today? How can I understand this better? Jonathan Harris didn't achieve greatness overnight. It was the cumulative result of his daily commitment. He made it a non-negotiable daily practice to learn something new. It could be a complex scientific theory that stretched his mind, a philosophical principle that deepened his perspective on human nature, or simply a practical new skill that improved his efficiency. He fed his curiosity with unwavering consistency, and that powerful consistency, compounded faithfully over years and decades, became his definitive competitive edge. His mind wasn't just a repository of static knowledge. It was a thriving garden he cultivated daily, tending to new ideas and insights. And the fruits, the undeniable results of that diligent cultivation, were nothing short of revolutionary. The single greatest advantage you can give yourself in any field at any stage of life, whether you're just starting out or nearing the end of your career, is the unshakable commitment to simply keep learning. This mindset of continuous learning fosters genuine humility, because the more you truly learn, the more profoundly you realize how much there is left in the universe in human knowledge left to discover. It nurtures resilience because each new piece of knowledge, each new skill you acquire equips you with one more tool, one more strategy, one more way to adapt and overcome when inevitably faced with unexpected difficulties. And perhaps most importantly, it builds deep, quiet confidence because knowledge cultivated consciously breeds clarity, and clarity is the most solid foundation upon which unshakable self-belief is built. So seek knowledge actively, deliberately. Read widely beyond your comfort zone. Ask questions, fearlessly and often, acknowledging what you don't know as the first step to knowing. Listen deeply to others' perspectives, not just to respond, but to truly understand. Reflect often on your experiences and what they teach you. The path of lifelong learning is rarely linear. It twists, it turns, it has unexpected detours, but it is without question always immensely rewarding. It transforms average into exceptional and elevates potential into undeniable mastery. Your mind is arguably your single most valuable asset. Protect it fiercely. Invest in it wisely. Feed it generously and consistently every single day with the nourishing food of knowledge and new perspectives. The world ultimately belongs to those rare individuals who fundamentally refuse to stop growing, who see the end of a chapter only as the prelude to learning how to begin a new one. Let your life itself become a living testament to the transformative, explosive power of continuous learning, because when you commit to being a student forever, you simultaneously unlock the profound capacity to be a leader in every sense of the word. Keep learning. The incredible journey has only just begun. The seventh powerful lever for rebuilding positive attitude as your greatest asset. Your mental attitude. Your deeply ingrained mindset, the perspective through which you consistently view the world, quite literally determines the reality you experience. It is the subtle yet profoundly powerful lens through which you interpret every event, big or small. It is the persistent inner voice that either serves as an incredible ally, strengthening your resolve and guiding your journey forward, or acts as an insidious saboteur, undermining every effort and filling you with doubt. While it is an undeniable truth that you cannot at any given moment control all of life's external circumstances, unexpected challenges will arise. Difficulties will inevitably present themselves. There is one critically important thing: you always have the power to choose your response to those circumstances. And that choice of response, made consistently, repeatedly, day after day in the face of ease and hardship, ultimately and completely defines the quality, the trajectory, the entire experience of your life. Let us consider the extraordinary story of Helen Keller. Tragically struck deaf and blind by illness as a very young child, she faced a world submerged in absolute silence and perpetual darkness. For years, her life was one of isolation, an immense challenge, a reality most of us can scarcely imagine. Yet despite facing perhaps one of the most profound physical limitations imaginable, she fiercely refused to let her condition define limit or constrain the full potential of her spirit and mind. Through the tireless dedication, the patient guidance, and the unwavering belief of her truly remarkable teacher, Anne Sullivan, and crucially powered by her own indomitable spirit and fiercely resilient will, Helen made a choice. A radical, life-altering choice. She chose optimism over despair. She chose light in the face of darkness. She chose possibility in the face of perceived impossibility. Her positive mental attitude, consciously cultivated every hour of every day, became the fundamental foundation upon which she built an absolutely extraordinary life. A life of profound accomplishment and immense inspiration for millions globally. Helen Keller did not allow her immense challenges to diminish her burning ambition for contribution and achievement. She rose above them, not by ignoring them, but by focusing on what was still possible. She became the first deaf-blind person in history to earn a college degree, an unprecedented feat at the time. She authored books filled with wisdom and insight that inspired countless readers. She tirelessly advocated for the rights and dignity of people with disabilities, shaping legislation and public perception. Her mind remained, despite her sensory deprivation, wide open, intensely curious, and profoundly resilient. Her life was a living, breathing testament to a simple yet powerful truth. Attitude, far more than adversity itself, is the ultimate sculptor of one's future. A truly positive attitude possesses a magnetic, powerful quality. It actively opens doors and creates possibilities in places where a negative or cynical perspective would see only insurmountable walls and dead ends. It attracts opportunities. It fosters genuine, lasting relationships based on mutual respect and uplifting energy. It creates a palpable magnetic presence around you that inspires, energizes, and encourages those in your orbit. Negativity, conversely, repels progress, pushes people away, and creates a downward spiral of diminishing possibility. Positivity, on the other hand, draws good things in, like a powerful current, pulling opportunity towards you. People are naturally, instinctively drawn to work with support and actively elevate those who radiate optimism, who offer hope, and who have the capacity to uplift their own spirits. Ultimately, your consistent attitude determines whether you are perceived by the world, and more importantly by yourself, as a burden or as a beacon. Cultivating a positive mindset is not about engaging in superficial platitudes or pretending everything is perfect when it clearly isn't. No. It is a deliberate, often difficult practice of choosing hope, even when circumstances loudly scream otherwise. It is about actively seeking solutions and lessons when confronted with setbacks, rather than simply lamenting the problem. It is about finding latent strength, discovering hidden reserves of courage in the midst of the struggle itself. It means making the conscious, often painful choice to embrace gratitude for what you have, for the lessons you are learning, rather than succumbing to grief or bitterness over what feels unfair, over what has been lost. Helen Keller herself, reflecting on the totality of human experience, once profoundly stated, "Although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of the overcoming of it." That simple yet monumental statement embodies the very essence of a powerful, life-affirming attitude. She did not deny the existence of suffering. It was an undeniable reality in her own life, but she fundamentally focused on and found meaning in the overcoming of it. She transcended her limitations through the power of her mind and spirit, and in doing so, she served as a luminous reminder to us all that the human spirit, when fortified and aligned with relentless positivity, is a force of nature that cannot ultimately be stopped. You must approach the cultivation of positivity as a daily, non-negotiable discipline. It is as vital to your success and well-being as practicing a skill or exercising your physical body. Begin with gratitude, not as a fleeting acknowledgement, but as a deeply ingrained practice. Each morning before your feet even hit the floor, take a moment to name specifically 3 things you are genuinely thankful for. In moments of intense stress or overwhelming challenge, instead of panicking or complaining consciously, pause and ask yourself the simple but powerful question, what can I possibly learn from this experience? How can this make me stronger, wiser, more capable? Deliberately surround yourself with people who uplift your spirit, who see your potential, and who embody the kind of positive energy you wish to cultivate. Consume content. Books, podcasts, videos. that inspires you, challenges you positively, and fills you with a sense of possibility. And critically choose the words you speak, both to yourself in your inner dialogue and to others. Carefully speak words that affirm your strength, reinforce your capabilities, and reflect the future you are actively building. By consistently fostering this positive internal climate, you create a dynamic inner environment where success, joy, and resilience naturally inevitably flourish. Your energy becomes sharper, more focused, less scattered. Your capacity for creativity expands because your mind isn't bogged down by negativity. Your resilience deepens because you are training yourself to see possibilities, not just problems. You stop reacting blindly, instinctively, fearfully to every external circumstance that crosses your path. Instead, you consciously, intentionally respond. And in that powerful, deliberate response, you reclaim your agency, your personal power to shape your reality. Remember this profound truth. Your attitude fundamentally shapes your destiny far more decisively than any external condition ever could, no matter how challenging those conditions may seem. You possess the innate capacity to rise and thrive in spite of external chaos. You can grow stronger and more capable in spite of limitations placed upon you. Whether those limitations are real or self-imposed, you can truly flourish, not because everything around you suddenly becomes easy, but precisely because your mind is strong enough, your attitude is resilient enough to actively transform obstacles into stepping stones. The world again does not owe you an easy ride, but it absolutely responds to the mindset you bring to the journey. A strong, cultivated, positive attitude doesn't just change how you experience life. It fundamentally changes what life brings to you. So, choose positivity. Not once. Not just when it's easy. Choose it every single day. Let it be the sturdy armor you wear when stepping into uncertainty. Let it be the enduring fire that keeps you moving forward when fatigue and doubt threaten to consume you. Let it be the lasting legacy you intentionally leave behind for others to draw strength from, just as Helen Keller did. Because in the end, the enduring story of your life is defined not by what happened to you, but by how you courageously chose to face it, to interpret it, and to move through it. And with the right unwavering attitude, genuinely, there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that you cannot ultimately overcome. The eighth indispensable pillar in your rebuilding journey: embracing adaptability for success. Change is not coming. Change is already here, and it is perpetual. It is arguably the only constant in the universe, and in a world defined by relentless flux, success, sustained, meaningful success, inherently favors those who possess the capacity to adapt swiftly, intelligently, and strategically. The most enduring, the most influential individuals, organizations, and ideas throughout history have not necessarily been the biggest, the strongest, or even the ones deemed initially the most intelligent. No. They have consistently been the ones most keenly responsive to change, most capable of pivoting when conditions demand it. The world economy shifts. Technological landscapes evolve at dizzying speeds. Consumer preferences change. Geopolitical factors fluctuate. And established trends fade into obscurity, almost overnight. The fundamental question is never whether change will inevitably come. It is and always will be how you will conscientiously respond when it does. Let us turn our attention to Joseph Montgomery, a businessman of immense repute and resilience, whose career not only survived but thrived across multiple decades marked by significant economic turbulence. He once shared with me a profound insight that it was precisely his cultivated ability for adaptability that saved his entire enterprise, the culmination of his life's work during a particularly devastating period of economic collapse that wiped out many of his peers, while countless others clung desperately to their outdated strategies, hoping against all evidence that the storm would somehow pass and conditions would return to a familiar past state. Joseph made a fundamentally different choice. He didn't resist the change. He didn't waste precious energy lamenting what was being lost. Instead, he strategically studied the change. He actively anticipated its potential trajectories, and most crucially, He deliberately, boldly moved with it. When others faltered, paralyzed by indecision, he swiftly pivoted. When others reluctantly closed their doors, mourning their losses, he actively sought and opened new ones, exploring new markets, new models, new possibilities. That proactive mindset of embracing change as an opportunity, not just a threat, fundamentally transformed a period of acute crisis for him into a powerful launchpad for renewed opportunity. Adaptability, properly understood, is far more than simply clinging to survival in difficult times. It is about intentional transformation. It is the dynamic mindset that asks relentlessly, what is possible now? Instead of rigidly clinging to what used to work in a world that no longer exists. Joseph's remarkable ability to remain calm amidst the chaos, to be intensely observant of the shifting landscape, and to maintain an unwavering strategic flexibility gave him a decisive, insurmountable edge. He refused to waste valuable time mourning the past or lamenting the hand he was dealt. He invested his time, energy, and capital deliberately in architecting the future. As the established markets crumbled around him, he proactively restructured his company's operations, swiftly rebranded its offerings to align with new consumer needs, and courageously relaunched, repositioning his business for relevance and growth in the new environment. His company didn't just barely survive the economic downturn. It emerged from the crucible, stronger, leaner, more innovative, and profoundly more relevant than ever before. To adapt in a rapidly changing world is essentially to lead. It demands that you keep your mind not just open, but actively seeking new ideas, embracing emerging technologies, exploring novel methods of doing things, even if they challenge your established way. It requires intellectual humility, the quiet strength to admit when something that once worked brilliantly is no longer effective or relevant in the current climate. It demands profound courage, the willingness to boldly try something completely new, something untested, even when doing so carries the distinct risk of failure or temporary setback. And perhaps most critical of all, adaptability requires speed. Those who hesitate, who overthink, who delay their response to fundamental change often miss their vital window of opportunity completely. Flexibility is not a minor virtue. It is a powerful protective characteristic. The rigid, the unyielding tend to break under pressure. The flexible, the adaptable have the capacity to bend, adjust, and ultimately endure, growing stronger from the pressure. When you consciously train your mind to expect change as the norm, to even anticipate its arrival, you gradually stop fearing it. You stop reflexively resisting it. Instead, you begin to perceive it as a natural, inevitable, even exciting part of growth, both personal and professional. You begin to understand how to consciously harness it, using the energy of disruption as a powerful source of momentum to propel yourself forward. Joseph Montgomery was not initially the biggest player in his industry by conventional metrics, but he deliberately became one of the most influential, the most successful over the long haul, precisely because he utterly refused to be stagnant, to be predictable. He led his team not with nostalgia for a fading past, but with a clear, compelling vision for a dynamic future. He constantly challenged those around him to innovate, to question established norms, and to relentlessly seek better ways of doing things. That embedded culture of adaptability became the single greatest asset his company possessed, its ultimate differentiator. You must build that same robust capacity for adaptability within yourself. Maintain an open mind. Be willing to critically assess, and if necessary, shift your strategy. When external circumstances change fundamentally, cultivate continuous learning, as we discussed, as it is the fuel for adaptability. Observe patterns, both successes and failures, in the world around you. Be swift to respond to evolving conditions, to new information. The faster, the more gracefully you can adapt, the more doors of opportunity you unlock, the more possibilities you make available to yourself. Conversely, the more you resist change, the more you dig your heels in. The more struggle and hardship you will inevitably invite into your life. Embracing adaptability doesn't imply abandoning your core values, the non-negotiables that define who you are and what you stand for. It means finding new, innovative ways to express those values, to embody them within a changing landscape. It doesn't mean giving up on your grand goals, your ultimate destination. It means being profoundly flexible, agile, and creative about the path you take to reach them. The desired outcome remains the same. Only the route needs to evolve as the terrain shifts. Those who merely adapt in the face of change simply survive. But those rare individuals who actively, enthusiastically embrace change, who welcome it not as a curse, but as a powerful gift of potential, they flourish. They rise above their competitors. They stay ahead of the ever-shifting curve. They become masters of reinventing themselves as often as the world demands, becoming not just relevant, but truly, breathtakingly remarkable. So consciously train your mind to move, with change not rigidly against it. Release the pervasive fear of the unknown, of the uncertainty that change always brings. Replace that fear with a fierce, active curiosity about what is possible in the new reality. Understand that with every shift in your environment, whether internal or external, comes a fresh, fertile opportunity. An opportunity to grow, an opportunity to lead, and an opportunity to achieve success on a higher, more meaningful level. The future undoubtedly belongs to the adaptable, to those who deeply understand that lasting success is not built upon static, unchanging foundations, but upon flexible structures, agile mindsets that bend, adjust, and perpetually evolve alongside the dynamic pulse of life. Be like Joseph Montgomery. Cultivate the foresight to see change before it arrives. Develop the agility to move quickly when it hits. Hone the wisdom to act strategically, and above all, never ever stop evolving, because in the unpredictable, ever-changing landscape of life and business, the ability to adapt is not just an advantage. It is in every sense everything. The ninth and arguably culminating pillar of rebuilding, the strength in serving others. True success, the kind that resonates deeply, that leaves a lasting echo, is inextricably tied to the value, the tangible, positive difference you bring to the lives of others. Success in its most meaningful form is not merely about personal accumulation, acquiring wealth, possessions, or accolades for yourself alone. It's not solely about individual achievement, no matter how impressive that might be. It's certainly not simply about seeking external recognition or fleeting fame. Authentic success is fundamentally about impact. The most fulfilled, the most deeply satisfied, the most truly prosperous individuals I have observed are rarely, if ever, those who strive to take the most for themselves. No. They are almost without exception those who find profound joy and meaning in giving the most, in contributing the most, in uplifting others the most. They understand a fundamental, powerful truth that real, sustainable prosperity, whether financial or emotional, is not extracted from the world, but is generatively rooted in genuine service to others. Let us consider Andrew Pauly, a figure I have come to know and admire as a philanthropist and entrepreneur of rare vision and distinction. He often remarked that his considerable wealth, his wide-ranging influence, and the profound sense of purpose he experienced daily were simply the natural byproducts, the inevitable results of a life that he consciously, deliberately dedicated to serving the well-being of others. Starting from modest circumstances, Andrew built a thriving, successful enterprise through diligent effort and smart decisions. But his fundamental focus was never singularly narrowly on maximizing profit. His driving mission, the heart of his operation, was to elevate people. Not just his customers or his community, but his employees, his suppliers. Anyone whose life his business touched. Andrew's approach to success was intrinsically rooted in the concept of contribution. He consistently taught by example and through his words that making it your primary objective to improve the lives of those around you in tangible ways initiates a beautiful, powerful cycle of abundance and deep, lasting fulfillment. When you genuinely make it your mission to contribute value to others, doors open that financial gain alone could never unlock. Loyalty from employees, from customers, from partners, deepens to an almost unbreakable bond. Your reputation, the real unvarnished truth of your character, expands not through marketing campaigns, but through authentic goodwill generated by your actions. And the satisfaction, the deep, quiet sense of enoughness and joy in your soul grows beyond any external measure. Andrew lived by one deceptively simple principle that became his guiding light. Leave everyone you meet in life better than you found them. This wasn't merely a nice-sounding philosophical statement to him. It was a daily lived, tangible practice, and that practice implemented consistently changed absolutely everything for him and for those he encountered. In business meetings, he didn't dominate or posture. He listened fully intently with genuine curiosity, making others feel heard and valued. In making crucial strategic decisions that impacted many lives, he didn't prioritize short-term gains. He thoughtfully considered the long-term communal impact of his choices, ensuring his success lifted the surrounding community. In his leadership style, he didn't rule with an iron fist. He emphasized empathy, shared vision, and sincere encouragement, drawing the best out of everyone. These were not signs of weakness, as outdated business paradigms might suggest. No, these were unequivocally the profound sources of his strength, the roots of his long-term influence. His deep intrinsic commitment to service did not dilute his ambition to build a significant enterprise. On the contrary, it magnified it. It imbued his work with a higher purpose. His employees weren't just working for a paycheck. They were invested in a shared mission to make a difference. His customers weren't just buying products. They were actively supporting a purpose-driven venture. To build a life of truly meaningful success, you must consciously align your personal ambitions, your dreams, your pursuit of growth with the greater good, with the needs, the upliftment, the potential of others. When your individual goals gracefully intersect with the fundamental needs of the people around you, your efforts become infused with far greater meaning and impact, and the legacy you build, the one that outlasts your physical presence, becomes enduring. Success achieved at the expense of others is ultimately shallow and fleeting. It is built on shifting sands. Success built through contribution, through uplifting others, is rooted in solid ground and is everlasting. You do not need to possess great wealth or already occupy a position of power or influence to begin the practice of serving. Service begins with a conscious intention. It lives most authentically in small, everyday acts of kindness, generosity, and genuine care. Listening deeply when someone needs to be heard, offering help without being asked, mentoring someone younger or less experienced who needs guidance, giving a helping hand without expecting anything immediate or tangible in return. These seemingly small, consistent gestures of service create ripples. They cascade outwards, generating powerful positive momentum and creating real meaningful impact in the world. The act of serving others selflessly and consistently fundamentally strengthens your character. It cultivates genuine humility, reminding you constantly that the world is vast and interconnected, far larger than your personal goals or your individual ego. It helps you recognize that your greatest talents, your resources, your unique energy are not just given for your own benefit, but are intended to be shared, to be used to uplift and empower those around you. And crucially, authentic service builds unbreakable, meaningful relationships. People rarely remember exactly what you said, but they always remember how you made them feel, how you cared, how you showed up for them when it truly mattered. The bonds created through genuine service are resilient beyond measure. They have the capacity to carry you forward, to support you through your own inevitable challenges in ways that isolated personal ambition could never possibly achieve. Andrew Pauly never viewed service as some optional arm's-length charity external to his core business. He saw it profoundly as a deep human responsibility. And through that powerful lens of responsibility and contribution, he built not just a financially successful enterprise, but an empire that fundamentally changed countless lives for the better. His life story is a powerful living reminder that the relentless pursuit of greatness and the path of humble service are not two opposing forces pulling you in different directions. They are in truth one and the same path, converging to create a life of ultimate meaning and impact. So consciously ask yourself every single day, who can I genuinely serve today? How can my actions, no matter how seemingly small, make someone's life, even just for a moment, incrementally better? When you deliberately adopt this mindset, when you actively embed the spirit of service into your daily living, your entire world will begin to shift. Challenges will be seen not just as personal obstacles, but as potential opportunities to contribute solutions. Success will feel not like a solitary, lonely achievement, but like a shared journey of collective upliftment. True fulfillment, deep in your soul, is ultimately found not in what you desperately strive to gain or accumulate for yourself, but in what you are truly willing to generously, authentically give of yourself. The world, the universe itself, fundamentally rewards those who approach life with open hands and a heart full of generosity. And the most potent, the most meaningful, the most powerful form of success is undeniably the kind that simultaneously lifts others upward as it itself rises. Let the story of your life be at its core a narrative of profound service. Let the legacy you eventually leave behind not just be a list of accomplishments, but a tangible, lasting legacy of positive impact on the lives you touched, the communities you influenced, the world you left slightly better than you found it. Because in the final equation of a life well lived, those who give the most authentically and consistently grow the most as human beings. And through the transformative act of service, you don't just build fleeting success, you build deep, enduring significance. Your inherent potential, the dormant capacity residing within you, is truly limitless, unbounded by external opinion or past limitation. Take a quiet moment right now to reflect deeply. Reflect on the dreams that have perhaps laid dormant within you. Define clearly, vividly, with absolute certainty what genuine success truly means for you at this stage of your life. What that fully rebuilt, vibrant version of yourself looks like, feels like, and then consciously, courageously, commit fully to this incredible, challenging, but infinitely rewarding journey of rebuilding yourself from the inside out. Do not delay. Do not postpone the work for another day, another week, another year. Start immediately. Today. This moment. Take a deliberate, intentional action. Any action, no matter how small it seems, right now, right after hearing these words, a step that moves you, however incrementally, towards the powerful vision you have defined. Remember this crucial truth. Greatness doesn't passively await those who simply hope for it. Greatness actively seeks it, actively responds to those who are willing to pursue it with unwavering courage in the face of uncertainty, with profound resilience, forged in the fires of setback, and with relentless, indomitable optimism, illuminating the path forward. Your journey to an extraordinary life begins today, from this moment. Rise, rebuild, and redefine, not just your life, but the very boundaries of what is truly possible for a human being. The power, the extraordinary transformative power to do so, is already fully, undeniably within you. Take it, claim it, and with that power, architect the extraordinary future you are capable of creating.